Oh. Hi, everybody. Sorry, I didn't see you there. I was just recreating what my eyes saw in Sunday's Texans loss to the Jaguars for my ears. I would prefer to have no sensations after what we saw yesterday. We've had some time to sit on it, to let it marinate. Ugh. I'm Paul Gallant, and this is the Gallant Says podcast.
A radio show host in Seattle called Paul Gallant.
Paul Gallant's wondering the same things a lot of people wonder.
You are definitely living in the hindsight world today, Paul.
Do you feel there's been a consistent theme with the interceptions?
I think every interception really has a different story.
I was just kind of curious what Paul gets to say.
Are you kidding me? Paul Gallant, what the hell is wrong with you?
Hello and welcome aboard the Gallant Says podcast. It is Monday, September 22nd, 2025, live on YouTube at Paul Gallant, on Twitch at Gallant Says, on X and Twitter at Gallant Says and at Gallant Says Pod. You can also get it on Instagram at Sports Gallant, on Facebook as well at Paul Gallant Sports. And you know what? We even post clips of this show to the TikTok at Gallant Says. Every Monday through Friday, around noon Central Time, is when this thing gets started. It's available after the fact wherever you get your podcasts. Apple, Spotify, subscribe, rate, review, like, follow, etc., etc., etc. If you ever want to cut me off mid-thought, I think the best way to watch this thing is on YouTube. You can super chat me and I'll play this.
Paul, stop talking. Listen.
I'll play that sound and then I'll get right to your comments. But I still will eventually get to your comments, which you can also leave the old-fashioned way via email, gallantsays@gmail.com, or by leaving a voicemail at 281-836-3912. 281-836-3912. Some comments to open up. Shout out to Mother Effin' Cornbread and Coug Blaze saying this show's a great one. Go Cougs. Go Syracuse. Who would have thought that Syracuse football would be more reliable for me, someone who grew up a Patriots fan, someone who grew up a Florida Gators fan, someone who has covered the Texans for most of the last 15 years. Who would have thought that that would be the most reliable football program in my life? TJ says on X, I miss Bobby Slowick. Not Santa says, apologize to Bobby Slowick right now. Maybe that is something we'll do by the end of the show. Ian Lindblom says on YouTube, everyone's looking around to see who will make a play. Seems like Nico Collins is the only one. There are eunuchs who try harder to fuck than this team trying to get a first down. You could make the argument that perhaps Nico Collins fought a little bit too hard. Quentin Webner says on YouTube, losing is bad enough, but the condescension from the players and staff is even more annoying, as if we should be lucky to root for them. Yeah, we'll get to that a little bit later. Yesterday was one of the worst football games I've ever seen. It's a 17-10 game where two of the touchdowns were scored, one on a broken play where a Jaguars defensive back made a high school level gaffe, two on a play where the Texans allowed the Jaguars to score a touchdown, hoping that it would give them enough time to go back down the field. We're talking about a game with 16 penalties, where the teams combined to go 8 for 30 on third down, all sorts of drops, 3 interceptions, 2 missed field goals, a fumble, awful punts, 10, 3, and outs. The Texans gave, the Jaguars gave. I suppose you could say at the very least that both teams were feeling very charitable, but it's the Jaguars who leave 2-1. It's the Texans who leave 0-3. And it feels over for 2025, which is crazy to say. Hell, everything feels over. It's understandable for the Astros, at least. They're injured. We'll discuss them later on in the show. But where this Texans team is right now is just so inexcusable. I don't even have the energy to be mad. I don't. I did a live stream watching yesterday's slog of a game. I did a post-game live stream afterwards. The energy is zapped. That loss makes you crave apathy. You wish you were where you were with the Astros from 2011 until they called up Carlos Correa in 2015. You wish you were where you were with the Texans from the collapse against the Chiefs in the 2019-2020 playoffs to the hiring of DeMeco Ryans. A game like yesterday makes you not want to give a shit. And some people are able to just walk away. But if you are a football lover, it ain't easy. And if you know ball and you look at this team and you see the talent that's on this team, you cannot explain how this is one of the 0-3 teams in the league. And it's making you ask serious questions about every single part of this organization outside of Derek Stingley, who might be hurt with an oblique injury, Will Anderson, who got dinged up, but I think is okay. We'll see. Nico Collins, who was the Texans' best player yesterday, but did cost his team the game by maybe trying a little bit too hard in the red zone there. And I guess put Daniil Hunter in that conversation. But everything else, the questions are all fair. CJ Stroud. Is he what we thought he was in 2023? I still see flashes from time to time. I also see a guy who has happy feet, who feels pressure far too much, who is now rather inaccurate. There were a couple of misfires in Sunday's game unrelated to the play at the very end where, for whatever reason, the Texans have Ariante Ursary, who had a bad game, blocking Josh Hines-Allen off the edge, hits the ball straight up in the air, intercepted. I mean, when it comes to CJ Stroud now, outside of Houston, this is what he now is. I saw this highlighted by a friend of the program, Beltway Boys. Let me show it to you really quickly here if you're watching along on YouTube. At Paul Gallant, Twitch at Gallant Says, X at Gallant Says, at Gallant Says Pod, Instagram at Sports Gallant, Facebook at Paul Gallant Sports. This moment right here is one of those moments where CJ Stroud's going to get clowned until he gets back to being the guy that we saw a very long time ago.
Good job out there, bro.
Yeah,
hey,
keep going.
Stop taking those hits.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, learn from those mistakes, and everything that you got, bro, is in you already, bro. You're going to be a hell of a player in this league.
Yeah.
All right, boy.
Appreciate it.
For sure.
Caleb was so annoyed by that advice that he got. And I mean, who looked better yesterday? Was it Caleb Williams with the Chicago Bears against the Dallas Cowboys, or was it CJ Stroud? And now you're looking at that moment and you're like, CJ Stroud, who said going into last season that he was a top 5 quarterback, had the balls to do that to a guy who might actually be older than him. I don't know what the ages are of those two guys. You've also got to ask the question if DeMeco Ryans is a special head coach, is capable of being a special head coach. I asked that question last year and people got pissed at me. I don't see anyone doing that now, though it does seem like people are still finding ways to go around blaming DeMeco Ryans for this team's start. Nick Caserio is getting destroyed. And justifiably, what did they do this offseason to make the offensive line better? What did they do? They drafted Ariante Ursary in the second round. Want to talk about the Bears again? The Bears traded a 4th-round pick to the Chiefs for Joe Thuney, a guy who had played for the Patriots before. While Nick Caserio was there, Nick Caserio was part of drafting Thuney. He was available for a 4th-rounder. Instead, this offseason, and there's lots of things to be annoyed with Laramie Tunsil, and I think you have to bring those up. The nonchalance about the penalties, the fact that he never seemed like that much of a leader. But I said this during the offseason. While it's nice to have all of those things away, he's still one of the better tackles in the NFL, and you would much rather have him protecting CJ Stroud's blind side in a critical situation than a fucking rookie. Nick Caserio traded that guy away. They got an entirely new offensive line. And also there's some ex-Patriots that, by association with Nick Caserio, are easy to villainize because where has the Patriots way succeeded outside of Foxborough? Even me, massive Patriots fan, I got to admit it. I think every team should still try to be like the Patriots, as I said on a live stream over a week ago. But it doesn't mean that everybody who was in that building is going to be able to succeed when, outside of Tom Brady, those who have succeeded outside are few and far between. So the biggest three members of the Texans, the quarterback, the head coach, and the GM, every single question you might have about those guys is fair at this moment in time. And there are no more excuses to be made for this team. I can understand losing to the Rams. No team came closer to beating the Philadelphia Eagles in last year's playoffs. Hell, yesterday, the Rams almost beat the Eagles. They were kicking their ass early. Bit of a collapse down the stretch. The Bucs are 3-0. That's a team that sacks up in crunch time. They win a lot of close games, but they take care of business themselves. Both of those games, Rams, Jets, Rams, Eagles, Jets, Bucs. Don't you wish you were able to watch those games yesterday instead of the slog that we had to sit through? There's no more excuses to be made. Go back to the offseason where the Texans felt seemingly pretty comfortable in their offensive line. This is a video that Aaron Wilson had posted from, I believe, like the Texans season opening party. And I saw Landry reposted it yesterday after the game with the caption, "This was the most smug, delusional, silly quote of the offseason by Nick Caserio. A well-documented, discussed eye roll at the time, and it looks way worse now. In case you did not see it or hear it, here it is."
I think the offensive line in and of itself is about five guys playing as one. So, again, I would say for D'Amico and I, we're not concerned about it. So if we're not concerned about it, you guys certainly shouldn't be concerned about it either.
We're not concerned about it. You shouldn't be concerned about it either. Excuse me, but what the fuck? Do you know anything about Texans history? D'Amico played here. This is a team that's had an offensive line that was good maybe for 2 years total. 2011, they were awesome. 2012, they were pretty good. Historically, when has this team had a good offensive lineman? I mean, going back in time, you almost can justify trading 2 first-round picks to go get Laramie Tunsil if you're Bill O'Brien. No more excuses to be made. None. Christian Kirk, oh, okay, they'll have a receiver that they trust. He was back. Offense look any better? Jake Andrews, center. He was out there. Did the offense look any better? You had the offensive line that you wanted going into the year. The offense that you heard from Nick Caserio right there, and by proxy, D'Amico Ryans. You don't have any reason to be concerned about the offensive line. They had the full offensive line, and there's still time for them to improve, and there's still time for the offense to get up to speed, blah, blah, blah. But fuck that at this point. Fuck that. Fuck it. Fuck it with a shovel and twist it. Pollard, who the fuck does that? Great question. This Jaguars team has a better defense, if you want to make that excuse. But you had a full squad yesterday outside of Joe Mixon. And this Jaguars team, defensively, offensively, it's a dumb team. It's clearly a dumb team. They're still cleaning out some of the skeletons that they have as holdovers from the Doug Peterson era. That's a stupid football team, no? Brian Thomas is dropping shit left and right. Who was that corner who completely fell asleep trying to cover Nico Collins? Shouldn't even be in the NFL. Was it Campbell or something? You were unable to win yesterday with a full deck. And I mean, let's just go through everything else that went down in the National Football League yesterday. How many teams were operating with one hand behind their back? How many? I mean, the Cleveland Browns, for fuck's sake, were down 10-0 and beat the Green Bay Packers. and their vaunted defense. They scored 13 unanswered points in the fourth quarter and won. The Vikings had Carson Wentz under center yesterday. They beat the Bengals 48-10. The Commanders had Marcus Mariota under center yesterday. They beat the Raiders 41-24. The 49ers were playing with Mac Jones. They won. I mean, take a look across the league. A lot of teams sacked up to overcome a short deck. Texans had a full deck yesterday against a dumb football team, and they lost. So now you're 0-3. 4 teams since 1990 have made the playoffs after starting off 0-3. Just 4. I do think that number will increase in years to come with the playoffs expanding and the expanded regular season. But given the random nature of football, are the Houston Texans about to do it again like they did in 2018? What are the odds the Texans do it twice? Because, yeah, throw the football gods into the equation. The randomness of what they determine. Throw that into it. You're really going to be, this organization, the team that overcomes an 0-3 start multiple times to make the playoffs. You just lost to the Jaguars. You're playing a god-awful Titans team that everyone's accusing of quitting and that their head coach is a Nepo baby. But, I mean, they're getting called out so much, I have a hard time thinking that they're not going to give you their best possible effort this coming Sunday at NRG Stadium. I don't know if Amy Adams Strunk is going to threaten them. Like, hey, if you don't win, like, I'm going to do something horrible because this is the only game I really care about. This is my Super Bowl, the game that takes place in Houston. They say they're not going to wear the Oilers uniforms for a while. Maybe they decide to sneak them in. Surprise attack or something like that. But, can you even say the Titans are a layup anymore? No. And then you play the Ravens week 5. There's a very good chance that you're 0-5. Like, it's got to be over 15%. At least. Are you the team that can once again rally from an 0-3 start in a 17-game season in a playoffs that now has 14, not 12 teams? You did it last time when it was 12-team playoffs in a 16-game season. Are you about to do it again? I mean, take a look at the other teams that are 0-3. On paper, this is the team that has the roster that jumps out. Jets, Dolphins, Titans. There's only 4 AFC teams that are 0-3. Giants, Saints. Jesus, you're in that conversation. And while you can say, hey, our roster is better, the fact that you're in the conversation with those loser franchises is a reflection of bad coaching, bad quarterback play, and bad roster management. And it really does feel like this season is over right now. Let's get to some of your comments before we listen to some of the things said yesterday. Chris Mena says on Instagram at Sports Gallant, we took a shot every time the commentator said, and CJ is running for his life. I almost died. You know what? You could also have taken a shot every single time that Adam Archuleta was wrong, first off, because that's what you're resorted to. That's what you end up getting. Like, that game deserved the CBS 12th team broadcast where Adam Archuleta, the analyst, is just wrong all the time. At least the man's handsome. Was a bit of a disappointing player in the NFL relative to the expectations he had going into the league. But he also said over the course of this game numerous times, the Texans are in mass protect. And what did they do with it? CJ Stroud's running for his life. CJ Stroud's getting sacked. Not Santa says, stop talking about those loser teams on X. The Dash are still in playoff contention with a huge win. B. Schwett says, the difference a month can make on the Houston sports scene. That is totally true. Coach Bojangles says, hashtag fire Kaylee. Virginia Bunweed says, Hannah thinks Arch Manning will sell more tickets. Well, who's underachieving more, Arch or CJ? At the very least, Arch slump busted against Sam Houston State on Saturday. Dylan Harrington says the Texans need to promote Gerard Johnson to offensive coordinator and fire Caley. Gerard was here last year with this Texans offense. And an interesting thing that I heard, it sounds like the communication between DeMeco Ryans and Gerard Johnson wasn't so great last year while the offense was falling apart, and that DeMeco maybe wasn't aware of some things offensively that he should have been. So Gerard's still around, and I like Gerard personally. I know him. Gerard Johnson once helped me shave 0.2 seconds in about 10 minutes off of my 40 time. Like, I think he actually is a good coach, but when it comes to quarterback coaching, where is the growth from C.J. Stroud year 2 and now year 3? Perez88 says CJ ain't it. Not Santa says CJ needs a good massage. Perez also says Texans ruined him. Typical. G says I'm only watching Red Zone from here on out. I hate the host, Scott Hansen, but I'd rather watch and listen to him than to see this team right now. What? He went to Syracuse. Don't hate on him. Come on. But I don't blame you. They are making you want to be apathetic, but it's hard to be apathetic when you have a quarterback like C.J. Stroud and when you have a head coach like DeMeco Ryans. Rick the Ruler says Stroud's no stranger playing with bad, shaky offensive line. He has his whole career. Still looks a rookie, wondering why he didn't have time to throw. Ian Lindblom, historically, when has this team beaten anyone when it actually mattered? Never. Unless you want to talk about the 2019 season before losing to the Chiefs, where they beat the Patriots, who were the defending Super Bowl champions, and the Chiefs in the regular season. That's it. Biggest Skeeter says CJ might be dumb. Morris Ramirez says we're trash and that he's Carr 2.0. Jay Adams 93 says we're losing to the Titans. I can guarantee it. Ugh. Common Sense 200. What if Graham Mertz was a 4D chess move by Casario to replace both Mills and Stroud at some point? Is he the new Tom Brady? Jay Adams says Cam Ward's going to have his career game like Will Levis did last year. Ugh, yeah. Chris House says there's no saving the offense. Just stop with the optimism. We don't have the personnel, point blank. Todd the Show says CJ needs to get ready to learn Cleveland. Oh, boy. So we're down bad. Texans, stop embarrassing us. So, what takes Monday morning quarterback takes are okay and which takes are not okay today? I'm just going to roll through them, food for thought, before we move on to the next segment. We hope that you continue to contribute to the comments section. Stroud ain't it. / Stroud is on the hot seat. I'm going to give this a Commodus from Gladiator, thumbs down. But I do not feel confident in saying that. I do feel good saying to anybody who thinks it's Davis Mills times that you're fucking crazy. You're crazy. You're completely fucking crazy. You've lost your mind. But if you really want to see the people angry, take a look at the YouTube comment sections for these Texans press conferences right after they lose. I mean, it is car crash after car crash. It's like playing Grand Theft Auto with a mod on, where all of a sudden everyone starts driving like maniacs. Explosion, 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 explosion. Hashtag Davis Mills QB1. Inbounds or out of bounds? DeMeco ain't it / is on the hot seat. I don't think he's on the hot seat, but I do think that you can make the case that he ain't it, given that we're hearing the same thing from him seemingly after every single game with no signs of growth. People are wondering about something that happened in this game between DeMeco Ryans and offensive coordinator Nick Caley. I think we're all in agreement that Nick Caley ain't it. Out. He's out. So thumbs up on the take, thumbs down on Nick Caley. Does anyone know what the hell happened in this moment? I'm still trying to figure it out. In the middle of Texans Jaguars, there was a sequence where it looked like Nick Caley was getting yelled at by DeMeco Ryans. I don't know for sure. DeMeco's yelling at someone. He's not done yet. He looks pissed. So what the hell happened there? What the hell happened? I believe that this afternoon at his Monday press conference that D'Amico was actually asked about that. Here he is, video courtesy of DJ Bien Ame.
On the field that was directed. I think during that snap, we got on the ball, we went tempo, and the refs held our offense from continuing to run their play, and the refs said that we were substituting, which we were not substituting. No one on our sideline got off the sideline or moved, and so they didn't allow us to run our tempo offense. They held the huddle. So that's who I was talking to, the official, right, and making sure that we were able to run our offense the proper way.
You weren't yelling. Just we don't think you were, but so just to clarify, you weren't yelling at Nick Kelly, correct?
I just said I was talking to the official. All right. No, I was not yelling at anybody on our sideline, any coaches, any players. I'm too.
Good job asking that question, Houston Texans beat. Everyone's starting to get a little chesty with the struggles of this team. Well done, everybody. Seriously. I like it when you guys ask tough questions. So, what do you do with Caley after 3 games, though? I mean, you know, I've seen some people suggest promote Gerard Johnson to offensive coordinator, but I mean, go back to last year. I know we're all saying, oh, Bobby Slowick wasn't that bad, but it did feel like things got repetitive with Bobby Slowick, and now they're getting repetitive with Nick Caley. Take a look at some of the play calls. The spacing's just not there. There was one play in particular that really drove me crazy yesterday. I mean, I'm still pissed about it. And my guy DJ actually found it in the film. Let me show it to you. It's just sometimes you see a play design and you're like, what in the actual fuck was this? This is a play where CJ ends up rolling to his right, and while he's rolling to his right, you're looking at it and you're like, hang on, what? What the fuck? Just watch this. He gets the ball. He rolls to his right. Look at the bottom of the screen. So, I mean, there's no one to Stroud's left outside of a running back in the flat and a couple of receivers where there's no spacing between them. Maybe there's going to be some over the middle. But you got 2 receivers that are running a hook, and I mean, are they even 5 yards apart from one another? Like, what the fuck is that? Where is the spacing? And at least Christian Kirk realized, hey, I got to move, but you got 2 guys in the same spot. What's CJ supposed to do there? So then he's got nowhere to run. He gets slowed up. He ends up getting tackled. He doesn't get much of a gain there. So, like, this is the stuff you're seeing. And I'm not a film junkie, but if I'm seeing that in the middle of the game, I know you guys are seeing this too. So, people don't think Nick Caley's it. Monday morning quarterback takes out are acceptable. I'm accepting that. Cole Popovich, the new offensive line coach who was here last year, he ain't it. I think anything Patriots related, everybody's out on it. And also, I mean, burying the lead here, but once again, CJ Stroud is trolling with his choice of baseball hats. I don't know how many people saw this going into the game, but I think the Texans posted a video of CJ Stroud walking in, and get this, guys, he is wearing a New York Yankees hat. Now, considering he has already worn a Seattle Mariners hat, I know a lot of Astros fans who also root for the Texans are going to get pissed off by that. I'm of the belief that CJ Stroud really doesn't pay much attention to baseball, and he just likes to wear baseball hats. He thought the Mariners hat looks cool. To his credit, I think it does. I think the Mariners hat with the teal brim that Ken Griffey Jr. made famous back in the day is actually a cool hat. I think the Yankees hat is like wearing essentially a Nazi uniform, but I'm also from Boston, and that's my just completely psycho take, you know? I would prefer that CJ wear, and this was a joke made by my guy Ryan Lost in Texas on yesterday's post-game live stream, I would prefer that he wear like a German World War I helmet with the spike on the top. I don't think this is something worth freaking out about, you know? I will also say, did you know that deep steel blue, the Houston Texans blue, is the same color as New York Yankees blue? That's not justification. I think anyone wearing a Yankees hat looks like a loser. Paul, but they got 27 rings, bro. They got 27 rings. Whatever. You still look like a fucking loser. It's a terrible hat. If you don't root for the team, you shouldn't wear it. Period. But I'm not freaking out about that with CJ Stroud. I am more concerned with the bad play on the field. Anyway. The play on the field, I mean, it's a disaster right now. But there's actually something worse than what's going on the field. And it's just as repetitive as what's going on the field. I am talking about what we are hearing from both DeMeco Ryans and CJ Stroud after the game. They're starting to repeat themselves. Maybe they're on autopilot. I feel like I heard this so many times last year, and you know what? I actually ran out of time before the show because I found previous examples of these guys saying all of the things I'm about to show to you. But after the game, DeMeco Ryans and his repetitiveness when it comes to talking about losses, this is why I always feel like he's gaslighting me. So this is yesterday after the game. There's 2 words DeMeco Ryans says here, and it's going to make your blood boil. By the way, though, shout out to the biceps. They look great.
We're close. That's what it is. We're close, but close isn't good enough. So we got to pick it up and find a way to get a win.
We're close. You have 0 red zone touchdowns this year. We're close? You haven't been close to the end zone. 0 for 4 in the red zone. The 2 touchdowns you've scored have been long throws from CJ Stroud to Nico Collins, the second of which was completely busted coverage. It wasn't drawn up by Nick Caley or anything. I know some people are going to say, well, at the end of the game, the Texans offense did start to move the ball. They just turned the ball over twice in Jaguars territory. That is true. But close? We're talking about close? CJ Stroud was asked about what DeMeco told the team after the game, and he referenced DeMeco talking about being close.
Fixing the issues. We're really close, and that's the problem. So we just keep, reiterating that we're close, and now it's time to, fix the issues and, be honest with one another. His message is just, we're going to keep having these results if we don't finish and we don't, take care of the ball and just do the small things. Because the effort's there, the physicality. Now it's just the execution.
Not a lot of enthusiasm, essentially repeating what DeMeco Ryans said there, right? Not a lot of enthusiasm there. So if you want to wonder about a disconnect between CJ Stroud and DeMeco Ryans, when CJ was asked what DeMeco told the team, and he said, hey, we're close, yada, yada, yada. Did you believe CJ Stroud talking about the Texans being close? What's that saying, by the way? Close is only good in horseshoes and hand grenades, right? Where did that come from? I'm looking this up on the fly. Close is only good in horseshoes and hand grenades was popularized by Hall of Fame baseball player Frank Robinson, appearing in Time magazine July 31st, 1973. Meaning of the analogy. In the game of horseshoes, a player scores points for a thrown horseshoe that lands within a certain distance of the target stake. Therefore, coming close to the stake is a legitimate way to score points. Hand grenades. A hand grenade's effectiveness isn't limited to a direct hit. Its area of effect is large enough that a toss that is close to the target can still cause significant damage and be considered a success. The phrase is often used as a response to someone who claims they were close to achieving a goal that was ultimately not met. It serves as a reminder that failure is still failure, regardless of how near one came to success. Okay. So, DeMeco, CJ, maybe we get this from the press conference on Wednesday. What does the saying, close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, mean to you? Just a thought. If somebody wants to be a cheeky asshole at the next Texans press conference? You could maybe ask that question. More from DeMeco Ryans, quotes that are giving gaslighting that are also repetitive in nature. DeMeco was asked multiple times about the offense yesterday. Here's what he had to say.
Yeah, we're in this thing together, and we got to figure it all out. So we're all in this thing trying to make sure we figure out what works for us. How do we find success on the offensive side of the football, right, to continue to sustain drives and score points. We understand where we are, and we got the guys, got the right people to get it fixed. We just got to get it fixed and play cleaner.
How would you evaluate Nick Haley's performance so far?
Yeah, for our offense, right, overall, we're all in this thing together, right? Of course, we want to play better offensively, right? We all are sticking together. We got to find a way to make sure we figure it out, and we will, because I know we have the right people, right? We got the right staff. We got the right players. We just got to figure it all out, and we got to go show it. It's not me saying it. We just got to go show it, and that's when we'll see the improvement.
We are also in this together with the Texans offense, though. And when I hear DeMeco say we're all in this together, that's a reflection on the entire operation. Nick Haley was the one being asked about at the very end of that. But, okay, your quarterback's making you ask questions. Your offensive line's making you ask questions. Your running back group, I don't know who the best guy is. I guess technically, statistically, they did run the ball well yesterday with a 4+ yards per carry average. I don't know after Nico Collins, who I trust to get open on a regular basis, especially now that Christian Kirk was back. I don't really feel that way about Dalton Schultz, who had a false start yesterday, too. Couple holds and penalties from both Titus Howard and more from Ariante Ursary. A couple of them were picked up, but each of them had multiple penalties. It was a rough day for them. Yeah, we're all in this together, but I mean, how are together all of you fucking up? Like, where is the positives? We're close. We're close. Excuse me? We're close. We're all in this together. By the way, together, we only scored one touchdown, and it was when a Jaguars player shit his pants. Had the brain fartiest brain fart. Like, it was a brain shit. You know? He thought it was just a fart. Oh, God. You gotta change your helmet when something like that goes down. Do you want to continue to hear the Texans talk after the game? Because I got more for you, everybody. DeMeco also pulled a throwback. If you remember Houston Texans coaches talking after the game, you definitely remember hearing this specific line.
Yeah, it all starts, first off, it starts with me, right? I got to clean it up. If we continue to make penalties, like silly penalties, it starts with me. So I got to do a better job of coaching, so we can understand how to play the right way and don't hurt ourselves.
He always sticks his tongue out, too, when he's done talking. This is a random nervous habit. I wonder if he does that while he plays poker. It starts with me. Where have I heard that before? It sounds so familiar. I'm going to go back to another Texans-Jaguars game. This one took place on September 10th, 2017. Take a listen.
Starts with me. Got to do a better job, coaching. I think it starts with me. I think I need to do a better job. I need to do a better job of helping them. I think, again, that's on me. I just didn't do a good enough job. Yeah, I think, again, it comes back to me, like trying to do a better job with these guys. Just comes down to, me making sure that I'm doing the best I can to do a better job. Like I said, it's we got to coach better, and hopefully that'll lead to us playing better.
That was Bill O'Brien, September 10th, 2017, after after Deshaun Watson's first game in the NFL. The game started off with Tom Savage in there, and he got the absolute bejesus smacked out of him. More gaslighty comments that are getting repetitive from DeMeco Ryans after the game. DeMeco said that, and this really blew my mind, when asked about a lack of explosive plays, said this. Here is the head coach of your Houston Texans.
TJ obviously can lead an offense to
Yeah, we hit an explosive today to Nico for a touchdown, right? We had another one on the over route that we just missed the throw and catch a little bit, so the explosives are there. We got the guys to get the explosives. We haven't connected on as many. I understand that, but we've hit one today as well.
I'm sorry. I'm not allowing anyone on the Texans to take credit for an explosive play when the Jaguars corner, like, I don't know what he was biting on. Nico ran an out and up. It was a nice route, but CJ didn't even do a pump fake on that. Also, it's Nico Collins. If you're Tyson Campbell, why are you biting there? The Jaguars gave the Texans a lot in this game, no more than there. And you can't take credit for an explosive play when the cornerback just completely fucks up. Like, sorry, you can't. I'm not allowing that. That is gaslighting. He's getting asked about explosive plays and, what? One last one from D'Amico Ryans here, who, after the game, was asked if he or this team are discouraged.
Discouraged by the way your team is playing in addition to the 0-3.
Yeah, I am not discouraged by my team, right? We played with outstanding effort today. We played with the resolve to give ourselves a chance to come back and win the game. And again, it's another fourth quarter drive, and that's the first 3 games. So am I discouraged? No. We've been in all 3 ball games, right? We've had opportunities in the fourth quarter, right? 2 times offensively to go and end the game, 1 time defensively, and we didn't make those plays to win the game. So our team is right there, despite how it looks, how it feels. Do we want to be 0-3? No, we don't want to be 0-3, right? But until we play cleaner ball and we find a way to finish and get on the winning side in the fourth quarter, that's when we'll get in the win column.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, guys.
I mean, here's the biggest problem. It's not just that he's saying, I'm not discouraged. This is maybe unintentional, but when you're talking like that and you're smiling while you say it, which you can see there, this is why you got to watch the show on YouTube at Paul Gallant, on Twitch at Gallant Says, on Facebook at Paul Gallant Sports, on X and Twitter at Gallant Says Pod, on Instagram at Sports Gallant. When he's explaining it to you like that, doesn't it seem like he's talking down to you? He's being a little patronizing. He's being a little condescending. It's like you're laughing. Sir, you should be discouraged. I would be discouraged. I don't give a shit if I believe we got the guys in the roster that can turn this thing around. So D'Amico is getting repetitive with the way he seemingly gaslights us after every single game. So that's D'Amico Ryans. Making matters worse, CJ Stroud is also starting to get repetitive. And while it's less condescending and patronizing than D'Amico, it's giving sensitive. First, after yesterday's game, CJ talked about how when you start off 0-3, everyone's going to talk crazy.
Everybody's going to talk crazy like they've been doing and have these analyses, and rightfully so. Like, that's NFL. You give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
You give him an inch, they'll take a mile. He says rightfully so there, but I don't believe he believes rightfully so. Give him an inch, they'll take a mile. Well, how about if you give him an 0-3 start? That's more than an inch. Oh, but the games were close. We were close to winning all these games. It was a 1-score game with a chance to win all 3 times. And what's annoying about this specific comment is we literally just heard CJ say that less than a week ago. Here is CJ Stroud after Monday night's loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Everybody's going to talk crazy, and we suck, we this, we that, and at the end of the day, we got to stay together and just mesh well and, be honest, have hard conversations. But, I think right now we need more confidence as an offense at least, just confidently playing better together. I think that's a big thing. We haven't played together, a lot of us, so the more confidence that we build, I think the better that we'll be off.
Everyone's going to talk crazy. He said that multiple times. It's gaslighty and a little sensitive coming off that way. No? Am I crazy? We're all being gaslit. And I think that's the worst thing you can do as a team when shit's going down like this. Ugh. This isn't the only thing that CJ's getting very repetitive with. And this is something that I picked up on because I'm a dork. And after every single one of these games, I go and I grab the Texans transcripts. And I highlight them and stuff. And I write notes. I need a stapler. I got angry Monday and I threw my stapler. And it broke. So I ordered a new stapler. And there's nowhere to staple these papers together. But I go through the transcripts, I highlight, I take notes. There's something that I noticed. CJ has a go-to when talking about a bad performance. And since we've seen so many bad performances since their 5-1 start last year, this is also starting to get annoying. So after yesterday's game, he quoted, I guess, the musical Annie.
Always better than what you think, but when you lose, of course, it's not good enough. So, there's the sun will rise up tomorrow, and we'll be able to go back to work. So that's a positive.
The sun will rise up tomorrow. Hang on a second, guys. I'm looking something up very quickly. Very quickly. Okay. This is what D'Amico Ryans is doing. Maybe, like me, maybe we can come together and bond over this. Maybe, just maybe, we are both fans of musicals. The sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be sun. Just thinking about tomorrow clears away the cobwebs and the sorrow till there's none. When I'm stuck in a day that's gray and lonely, I just stick out my chin and grin and say, the sun will come out tomorrow, so you gotta hang on till tomorrow. Come what may, tomorrow, I love ya, tomorrow, you're always a day away. Listen, CJ, if you're going to keep on saying this, and we'll go to all the past examples of him doing this, if you're going to sing this, if you're going to say this, sing it. Sing it. Sing it for me. Because here's CJ Stroud saying the sun will come up after the loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
The sun will rise in the morning. It's not the end of the world, but at the same time, we all get paid a service, to do a job, and, we got to get those jobs done.
Here's CJ Stroud saying the sun will come up tomorrow after he ruined my fucking Christmas by putting up 2 points against the fucking Ravens on Christmas Day.
It's part of life, man. You hit a lot of valleys, and then you have a lot of mountaintops, and it's cliche, but, they say there isn't, what is it? There's not sunny days if there's not days with rain. So, this is a rainy day, but at the end of the day, the sun will rise up tomorrow. We have another crack at this thing next week and, keep rolling.
Here's CJ Stroud doing this after the loss to the Jets on Halloween.
One thing that, the sun will rise the next day and tomorrow, and we'll be able to, play a game next week and be blessed doing it. So, it's not time to hang our head down, feel sorry for ourselves. It's time to answer the call.
It's not just that they repeat the same fucking mistakes every game. That's frustrating. It's that we're hearing the same things from these guys after every single game. We're close. The sun will come up tomorrow. It doesn't matter that you wanted to shoot yourself watching us lose to the Jaguars. Tomorrow, I love ya, you're always. Oh, fuck, we did that last week. super chat me if you want me to play more recorder. No? No? No one? I mean, you know, it's a Catholic school thing, the recorder. And this is like, you know, watching Texans games. Speaking of repetitive, it's starting to turn into like the Our Fathers and Hail Marys. The priest would tell you after confession that you got to do to you know, if you do those, you won't go to hell. You just got to say Hail Mary like 10 times. I don't know what the currency rate is, Hail Marys and Our Fathers. For I don't know, like killing fun are, but yeah, man, that's what the Texans are doing. Maybe, you know what? I got another prop. I started smoking. The Texans have made me do this, and I know that my mom's going to be upset about this because, like 3 of my grandparents died from smoking. But like, I'm ripping darts now. I'm smoking. Anyway, you can privately believe that the process is working, and you can privately believe that the sun will come up tomorrow. In a game like football, though, you can't be saying after every single game, we're close when you've won back-to-back division titles. You are one of all of these awful fucking teams that are 0-3. The Saints, Giants, Titans, Jets, Dolphins. You're one of those teams now. You know? Anyway. You want to hear more Texans talk after the game? Do you want to see, like, we could play an afternoon drinking game. Did any other Texans say, we're in this together, or the sun will come up tomorrow after this loss? We could take a look via Aaron Wilson, who does a fantastic job of getting quotes and posting them online after going to all these games. He goes to every single one. You know, I can't imagine you're making money going to a bunch of Texans games covering the Houston Texans, can you? So let's see some more. Here is Nico Collins after yesterday's game talking to Aaron Wilson to Collins' credit. I mean, he did score that one touchdown. He did do that. Texans wide receiver Nico Collins, who did score a touchdown. The only Texan to have scored a touchdown the last 2 weeks.
The play, you have only fumbled twice in your career, including today. Uncharacteristic. What happened?
Oh, nothing. I just got to take care of the ball. That was it. Good punch out by him. You know, I got to do my own rapid, through traffic, and take care of the rock. That's on me.
Just the level of frustration for you guys, kind of everyone's saying we're beating ourselves, penalties and turnovers, and sitting at 0-3. How do you kind of handle that and digest it?
Yeah, it's the NFL, man. 0-3, it hurts, you know, but it's a marathon. That's the NFL, and everybody's good. You're not about to come in, you know, just think you're going to run through everybody. You know, you got to continue to be yourself, continue to win, man, continue to grow and learn as you go. So I feel that's where we at right now, 0-3, another division at home. So let's get to stepping.
It's a marathon. You got to learn along the way. You got to keep stepping.
Confidence level, like for you guys, with the tough start that you're in, not just the record, but struggling to get yards, struggling to get points.
Yeah, you know, it's tough right now. You know, 0-3, slow start. You know, but like I said, it's the NFL, man. It's a marathon, not a sprint. You know, so you got to continue to watch this film, continue to get better, continue to grow. And find the things we all need to improve on individually, you know? So start with myself, take care of the ball, and continue to make plays.
What happened when you broke free for your 50-yard touchdown?
Yeah.
Did they just lose you in coverage?
You know, it was a double move. you know, I got them. So what I had, and 7 found me. Put points on the board, touch paint, you know. So we needed to do as offense, you know, supposed to score. So.
It was a great double move. I'm going to give Nico credit for that. It really was a great double move. Go back and watch it. And, I mean, to make a guy bite without a pump fake even being thrown his way, hell of a play. But he's saying it's a marathon, not a sprint. All right. Well, I mean, at some point, like in a marathon, are you stopping at the Starbucks along the way? So that instead of running and shitting yourself along the way like some marathoners do, you're you know, dropping the kids off there. Get a little free Wi-Fi as you do it. More Texans after the game, thanks to our guy, Aaron Wilson. Check out his YouTube channel, everybody, by the way. Christian Kirk, Texans wide receiver, also spoke up after yesterday's game in the the makeshift Texans-Jaguars locker room. Here is the Texans receiver that we all thought might unlock the offense yesterday.
Sure. I mean, got to give credit to those guys. You know, they played well. They made the plays in the moments that they needed to make them, and that was something that we didn't do. And like you said, it's hard to win in this league when you're starting 2nd and 15, 2nd and 20. You get behind the chains, especially against a good defense. It's hard to get on track as an offense. And, you know, the turnovers, when you lose the turnover battle, that percentage of winning goes down as well. So the good thing is these are all things that reflect on us. And, you know, we just got to go back and.
The good thing is it reflects on us. I don't know about that, Christian.
You know, look ourselves in the mirror, look at the film, and just correct it. But they're all fixable things.
At 0-3, where does this team go from here as far as being resilient, but also figuring out a way to, you know, not just, you know, get close, but to actually win a game?
Yeah, this team has some of the best leaders that I've been around, and
some of the best leaders that I've been around. Well, I mean, you were on the Jaguars and Cardinals.
So I'm not worried at all with where guys are going to go from here. We still have a lot of opportunities in front of us, and I
maybe he's referring to Texas A&M, the Yell leaders.
Know that we're just going to focus on the next one. Got our division opponent again coming into, you know, our house, and we have to respond. Nobody cares that we're 0-3. We got to show up and play on Sunday, and I know this team will respond accordingly.
That last quote I saw posted. I think DJ put it up. Nobody cares that we're 0-3. A lot of people were reposting it saying, well, no, a lot of people care that you're 0-3. Texans fans care that you're 0-3. And yeah, that is correct to point out. Texans fans are very frustrated that this team is 0-3. But I think he meant it from this perspective. Like, it would be the same as if you're 3-0. Like, no one cares if you're 0-3. No one cares if you're 3-0. No one cares what your record is every single Sunday in the NFL. You got to play the best you possibly can.
Did you feel like this is your first regular season game with these guys, that you and CJ were starting to get back some of the flow that you guys have worked on in the offseason?
Yeah, you know, I think it was hard in the first half with some of the inefficiencies that we were having. But in the second half, you know, I thought the pass game got going, and we were able to settle in a little bit. I think it was good for me to get out there and, you know, get all the first game rust and get my lungs back, get my legs back.
All right, I'm running. I don't really. Christian Kirk, you did not make the Texans win, so kind of out. Still, the King says time for a players-only meeting. They're probably close to one. An offensive players-only meeting. What else do we have after the game? Ariante Ursery, Texans left tackle. Oh boy, it was a rough game for old Ariante. Who also seems to have a little bit of a raspberry underneath his right eye. Here is Ariante Ursery, courtesy of Aaron Wilson. Oh, wait, I got to unmute it. You know what? An hour in. That was the first time we forgot to unmute something.
Lost to the Jaguars. Today, what's it going to take for you guys to start getting some wins, get that first win?
I would say, man, I take responsibility. I didn't play up to standard, and that ain't gonna never do it, and gotta be way better. So just keep my process the same, but just work way harder and push myself to the limits, and hope that everything just turn out good for me.
Last one for you.
Not gonna lie, I love hearing Ursery talk about this. You can tell that guy is bummed out by a rough performance where he was put in an almost impossible to win situation. Josh Hines-Allen is a really good pass rusher. Trevon Walker's pretty good as himself. And at the end of the game, I mean, you're supposed to block a seasoned veteran one-on-one when you have 2 games that you've played at left tackle and 1 game at right. I feel for him. He was put in a rough spot, and you could tell how, like, upset he is with himself. I will say this about Ursary. Like, every single time I've seen him speak, I love the kid's mentality, and I feel for him. That's a really tough spot for any rookie to be in. And, I mean, what do you expect to happen there? And that's on the Texans' offense and their coaching staff. Like, why do you put him out on that island? More from Tay.
Miko talked about the penalties. He said all of our guys are good players. He just said sometimes penalties happen when you're straining, maybe trying to do something. Where do you think your penalties come from?
I think it's just just trying to strain and, open holes up for the running back, protect CJ, and give him time. And those things can be fixed, but, it's a game, so things happen. I don't know, so just got to keep working.
I feel bad for him. I feel for him. Not his fault. What other quotes do we have to roll through? Tim Settle is always a good quote, except for, sometimes doesn't work out so well. He did talk a little trash before Texans Chiefs, and he's been a little more muted since then. He's a defensive tackle, for those who don't know. I get a kick out of him. What did he have to say after yesterday's loss? Again, Aaron Wilson, thank you very much for this video.
Settle Jr. after a tough loss to the Jaguars. 0-3, where do you guys go from here?
Only ways to go is up. We just got to put things together. We got to finish the game.
Pause. Is the only way to go up. I mean, you're 0-3, but could this get worse? It does feel like this is rock bottom. But is it worse? Is 1-4 worse than 0-3? 0-5 is definitely worse than 0-3. If you lose to the Titans going into the Ravens game, like even if you beat the Ravens, does anyone give a shit? Ugh. More Tim. Settle.
We're in there every week. We got to find out where to finish. Ain't nothing else to it. Just saying, we ain't little kids. We just got to finish the game.
Henry said it well. As soon as you guys start pointing fingers and turning on each other, the season could really go south.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you have the close-knit kind of team to be able to stick together?
Yeah, no, we're all close. We're all close. Nothing changes. We just gotta execute better. Everybody lean on each other and just a little harder this time. We'll be all right.
I hope he's right. 2 guys I would have liked to see after the game. Derek Stingley, and he's, I think, day-to-day with an oblique injury. I don't know what D'Amico had to say about him at today's press conference. I'm going to watch that back and clip it because that happened right before the show that we're in the middle of doing right now. I think it went live at like 11:30 or so. So we'll get some clips of that one. And I would have liked to hear from Will Anderson, too, because Will Anderson was banged up in that game. He limped off the field. He seemed like he was okay. He's a tough dude. But at least as far as I can tell, and I looked, I did not see Will Anderson in front of a microphone after this game. So very curious to know what his health status is going forward. Usually when a guy's not available, it means that they are dealing with something that could keep him out for a little bit of time. So, yeah, man, the Texans lost 17-10. And ultimately, much like with the Houston Astros afterwards, this is how I'm feeling.
Damn it, this always happens. I think I'm going to score and then I never score. It's not fair. I'm sick and tired of this. We're never going to score. It's just not going to happen.
It only happens when the other team just completely fucks up. Ugh. An hour and 5 in. I need to talk about something else. Honestly, I don't think I have it in me to talk about the Astros today. I don't have it in me. I watched Friday's game whole way through. We had a watch party. The girlfriend, Madeline, Steak Girl as she's known on the Twitch, she watched with me. Thank God she did, because that game was boring as hell. You can watch back. We had a good time. And I did a watch party for yesterday's game, which was over like in the second inning when J.P. Crawford hit that grand slam. A tip of the hat to the Seattle Mariners. Very happy for Mariners fans, less so for Mariners ownership. But Mariners fans were very cool to me when I was up in Seattle. I don't have it in me to talk about that series. Season's probably done for them too. I think there's a very good chance that I have watched my last baseball game for 2025. I'm not watching any Angels games or A's games at like fucking 11 p.m. No, fuck that. I'm not doing that. Take care of business. If you get into the playoffs, I will be back for the playoffs, but I am not watching any of those road games. What is crazy is that the Astros still do have a chance of winning making it into the playoffs. I think like Fangraphs as a wild card team, they got a 66% chance. Guardians are red hot. They've won 9 of 10, which is why they're in a dicey situation. If the season ended today, they'd be out. Tigers have collapsed as well. But, I mean, you're 3 games back of the Mariners with 6 games to play. The Mariners who have won, like 14 of 15? Like, you're not winning the AL West. Seattle's playing great. I think that they actually have a shot, especially looking at how wide open this American League is, of taking the whole thing. And I might end up wearing teal for it. But as far as the Astros side of it, like I feel like Thanos in Avengers Infinity War, sitting down and looking on the sunset. Now I rest. Now I rest. So let's talk about what went down in the NFL over the weekend. This is the thing that pisses me off the most about having watched the Texans game. We missed some crazy shit, right? I mean, we missed some wild stuff. Best game of the day, I think you have to give it to the Rams-Eagles game. This was a game where the Eagles were getting stomped at home. At one point in that game, they were down 26-7. The Eagles were down 19-7 at the half. They fumbled 2 plays into the second half. Short field. Rams score immediately. And look, the Eagles, they answered back. Touchdown. And then the end of the game was just fucking crazy. Let's take a look at the fourth quarter. And I got to have to watch this game. The Rams went for it at midfield. They got stuffed. Eagles got the ball back. They go for it on 4th and 7. They get stopped. Rams march down the field to Philadelphia's 18. They have a field goal blocked. Jalen Carter. Eagles march down the field. They score a touchdown with about 1:48 to go, but they don't get the 2-point conversion, so they're up just 27-26. Rams march down the field, and much like they had a chance to in the playoffs against the Eagles last year, they have the ball at Philly's 33 with 3 seconds to go. Jordan Davis blocks it. Davis picks it up, takes it to the house for a touchdown. What a fucking game. Eagles are resilient. And the Rams are a damn good team. If you want to take a look back at that Texans loss in week 1. What a crazy-ass game. The favorite thing coming out of it, I saw this meme go viral. Did anyone see the way that Jalen Hurts responded to this? Just look at this guy. What an absolute... this is a H-Town guy. Channel View Zone. Definitely better than CJ Stroud. This is how Jalen Hurts handled this. Look at him. Just completely emotionless. Like, what a crazy thing. You just won the game and a big guy scored a touchdown. He doesn't even smile. Just a complete psychopath. But that's what you want in a quarterback. So that was the best game of the weekend, and that was in the window where the Texans were playing the Jaguars. And since we had to watch that god-awful game, couldn't see it. Also, great games. The end of Bucks Jets. There's a little clip of Aaron Glenn, who I am a fan of, celebrating as the Jets, who were down 20-6 going into the fourth quarter. They scored. They outscored the Bucks 21-3 over a period of 9 minutes after they had blocked a field goal and returned it for a touchdown. Aaron Glenn on the sidelines doing this hilarious dance. I loved seeing it. Jets fans were excited for a moment, but the Bucks marched back down the field and they won. I'm very curious about all the post-game commentary. This was a game where a lot of people are laughing at Baker Mayfield finding a way to motivate himself after the game, but honestly, I respect this about Baker Mayfield. He's always going to find a way to get pissed off. Here's Baker after the game talking about all the people that made him want to play his hardest.
For you guys to get the victory for him. I loved it, and it's also their D coordinator was the one that cut me in Carolina, so it was a lot of stuff was personal today. Hassan Reddick, former Jet, a lot of people.
Hell, go a little further. Todd Bowles used to be the head coach of the New York Jets. Now he's the coach of the Bucks. Vengeance for everybody. And speaking of Todd Bowles, did anyone see this clip after the game? Here is the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers goofing around.
What did say to you when he wrapped his arm around you in the tunnel?
Me and Payne have a relationship not many people know about, and we're secret lovers.
Coach, Tom, what did you say during the locker room at the halftime?
I mean, Todd Bowles is a funny dude. Funny dude. So those are the two good games in the afternoon window. And, of course, unless you were watching Red Zone, you missed all of that. Or unless you went to a bar, you missed all of it. Other big games from early on in week 3 that mattered, that were consequential. You had the Cleveland Browns take down the Green Bay Packers 13-10. Everyone's talking about the Packers defense like it's this doomsday defense, but shout out to Cleveland. Quinshon Judkins, who was named the Browns starting running back going into the game, 18 carries for 94 yards and a touchdown. And the Browns defensively, they're good. They sacked the Packers 5 times in this game. They hit Jordan Love 7 times. They got a pulse, not a pushover. Maybe not much of an offense. But if Quinshon Judkins can do what he did against that Packers defense, which everyone was glazing after week 1, shout out to him. So, yeah, that was a last-minute win. They were down 10-0 going into the fourth quarter, and they won it on a game-winning field goal, 55 at the gun, from some guy who spells his name with all consonants. Smith, S-Z-M-Y-T. I bet he is from Eastern Europe. Do we want to check where? Let me guess off the top of my head. Smizit. I'm going to guess Lithuania. S-Z-M-Y-T. Andre Schmidt is an American football place kicker for the Browns. He played for Syracuse? Fuck yeah, dude. Didn't know that. Undrafted in 2023. Syracuse legend. And he's from Lake Forest, Illinois. All right, so I was totally wrong on that one. Paul, you're racist because you saw the spelling of his name. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. You know, you can't win them all. Can't win them all. Other big games. Caleb Williams and the Bears actually had a pulse yesterday? Huh. You know, I'll say this about the early returns on the Ben Johnson era. Ben Johnson's very truthful at the podium. Like, no sunshine and rainbows from him. Like, he's direct, brutal, and honest. And I like it. And Tom Brady even talked about it during the broadcast. I had such a player-friendly coach in Bill Belichick. He'd always tell me how great I did. You know, there was a high demand of excellence, let's say that. While they were talking about Ben Johnson's intense coaching of Caleb Williams. Seemed to work. Maybe that's because the Cowboys' defense is really bad. But Caleb's happy. Maybe a little too happy in the eyes of some. I don't know how many people saw this little moment with him and DJ Moore. Anyway, it's just an interesting moment. Nothing to see there. nothing to see there. A lot of blowouts, too, across the league. And it got pretty ugly for some teams out there. Very ugly. In case you didn't see it, the Colts are 3-0. They smoked the Titans 41-20. The Vikings, who had Carson Wentz under center, beat the Bengals 48-10. The Commanders, who had Marcus Mariota under center, beat the Raiders 41-24. The Panthers, who had Bryce Young out there, they beat the Falcons 30-0. Penix got benched. Kirk Cousins came in at the very end. The Seahawks smoked the Saints 44-13. Saints are awful. Mac Jones and the Niners are 3-0 after a 16-15 win over the Cardinals. What other games went down that we haven't touched on yet? My Patriots lost to the Steelers 21-14. I heard that they turned the ball over 5 times, so that's a little bit frustrating. Sunday Night Football. Oh, it's the Chiefs and Giants. I think some people were wondering, hey, what the hell's going on between Andy Reid and Travis Kelce? Because they had a moment where they were seemingly getting in each other's face on the sideline. Andy Reid even chest bumped him. I got to say, Reid the alpha there. Perhaps acting like Taylor Swift behind the scenes. I don't know. I'm just saying what happened out there. And there's one last game, and I did not mention it, and that this is my fault, because the Chargers, they never get love, but I'm going to need to play a little song to get you excited. The Chargers, they took down the Denver Broncos and that vaunted defense 23-20. Hit it. One last little clip. The Chargers are 3-0. Might be the best team in the AFC right now. Let's listen. Let's listen to the governor, the governator.
He's doing his job. This opportunity to say thank you to our great firefighters. We have, without any doubt, the greatest, the bravest, the best experienced firefighters in the world. We want to thank also all the law enforcement. We want to thank the National Guards for their great work. And I want to thank all the thousands and thousands of volunteers for all their work. Thank you very much.
Oh, wait. Well, he didn't say that there. I guess this was before a Chargers and Texans game. They clipped that out.
Bolts and Chargers go.
There we go. Go Chargers, go. Appreciate that, Chris Berman, setting us up there. So there you go. That's week 1 of the NFL season. Astros probably toast. Who's got the biggest case of the Mondays? Who has it right now? We're going to have an open for this eventually. In case you didn't hate yourself enough, Texans fans, here is Liam Cohen in the locker room after the game, hyping up the Jaguars, and specifically hyping up a couple of Jaguars who were trying to give the Texans the game. Hang on, I got to unmute it.
How's that?
You talk about staying with it, right? Highs and lows. We talked about that. How do we respond? Tyson Campbell. Let's go.
Look at him. He's so bummed out because he was the guy that fucked up on Nico Collins running deep. Did force the fumble late. Look at him. He's so pissed at himself.
Hey, Brian Thomas Jr.
Where is Brian Thomas Jr.? That fucker had like 8 drops yesterday. And then Liam Cohen's like cheering these guys first. If the Jaguars lost, no one would talk to those guys after the game. No one. And Liam Cohen's like, yeah, complimentary football. We made up for all the fuck-ups we did.
Guys, when you play complimentary football defensively, y'all were on shit today, boys. On that. On that. Guys, it wasn't pretty in some ways. Understand that.
It wasn't pretty in some ways. Liam, that was the worst fucking football game that any of us have ever seen. I'm running through all the numbers for this game in case you did not hear me early on in the show. I'm just going to lay it out for you, okay? This is just a wild, wild performance by both teams combining to really, like, make you wish you had been paying your taxes, getting a root canal. Like, all sorts of things that went down over the course of this game. He said as he filibustered looking for the little tab that he had his notes in. 16 penalties, 8 for 30 on 3rd down, drops, 3 picks, 2 missed field goals, a fumble, awful punts, 10 3-and-outs, and the 2 touchdowns came on a broken play and on a touchdown that the Texans purposely allowed because they wanted to get the ball back with one last chance to win. Just a god-fucking-awful game. More Liam Cohen rubbing it in after what was a brutal game yesterday.
Guys, it doesn't matter. You learn how to win. We learn how to win. Big game, division game, at home. When we were doing wasn't really working on offense, wasn't flowing. You guys had our backs in big time moments, and then we made the plays when it mattered most. Made plays. I can't tell you how proud I am of you guys. Cannot tell you. This is a fun group, man. This is a special group we got right here. Let's go. This is a special group. You guys should absolutely go home tonight and be proud of what the you see in the mirror. Without question. Be proud of that. Because you guys took that.
I mean, you tried to give it to them. Be proud of that? You took that? No one took anything. You took 3 hours away from us. 3 plus.
Took that right from them. Took it. I can't be more proud of you guys. Excited about the next thing, guys. Let's keep rolling. Enjoy this. Enjoy it. Enjoy your family, your friends. Enjoy each other because you guys earned this. Y'all earned it. I appreciate you guys.
They did not. Jesus, I got to stop. I wish you well, Liam Cohen. I I can't deal with that anymore. Just absolutely preposterous. Like that is far too much credit to take for what was a brutal game for everyone who watched it. So the Texans have a case of the Mondays. Everyone who saw CJ Stroud's hat going into the game, I saw some people talking shit about CJ Stroud wearing a beanie as well. Yeah, he likes beanies a lot. Why? I don't get the beanie thing. It's fucking hot outside still, you know? Who else has a case of the Mondays? Oh, we got this. Titans fans. So, I don't know how many people watched Colts Titans, but in this game, right before halftime, the Titans had the ball. They were trying to kick a 57-yard field goal. The Colts called a timeout. The Titans called a timeout. And then while lining up for a field goal after calling a timeout, they got called for a delay of game. So then they kicked, instead of what was a 57-yard field goal attempt, they kicked a 62-yard field goal attempt. They didn't get it. Colts had the ball basically at midfield with plenty of time left. Get into field goal range, kick a field goal, and it's 20-6. And then I think like the second play of I know the third play of the game, Cam Ward threw an interception, but I think the Colts got the ball on the other side of the halftime and they scored a touchdown. So as he was walking into the locker room, turn the volume up here. Brian Callahan, who will coach the Titans against your Houston Texans next Sunday, is getting booed by his own fans. This is the same guy who like teared up after the Titans beat the Patriots last year. Like, he's an awful coach. He's definitely someone who got this job because his dad was a head coach before. For what it's worth, Bill Callahan did take the Raiders to a Super Bowl. That was in, I think, 2002. And then they got smoked by the Bucs. There was that one guy who went to Mexico and I don't think showed up for the game. I think the Bucs had 3 pick sixes in that Super Bowl. Whatever. Listen. He stinks, and they had a chance to move on from him, but the Titans do this thing where they never move on from the head coach and the GM at the same time. Just take a look at how they've gone about doing things. I think they go fire GM, fire head coach, fire GM, fire head coach for the last 4 years. Because they had John Robinson with Mike Vrabel. They fired Robinson. They hired Rand Carthon. They fire Vrabel at the end of the year. They hire Brian Callahan. They fire Rand Carthon at the end of the year. And now, like, people are wondering if they're going to be the first team to fire their coach. I think they should personally. Especially when you're hearing this. This is Michael Pittman, Colts wide receiver, talking about the energy from the Titans before the game.
The pregame intros, they kind of looked a little sluggish. They're kind of walking around and nobody was really bouncing. And right then and there, like, we all sat there and we're like, they don't want to play today. And I think that's how we found our edge today, is just mentally we thought that we wanted to play more than they did.
Mentally, we thought we wanted to play more than they did. Are the Titans going to want to play against the Texans on Sunday? We will see. Who else has a case of the Mondays? Honestly, this is the only thing that I guess I get to gloat about this weekend, but my Syracuse Orange went into Death Valley and skull-fucked Dabo Swinney and the Clemson Tigers. That was an ass-kicking. And there was a long-ass rain delay in the middle of it, and I was wondering if Dabo Swinney, noted religious person, went underneath the stadium and cut a goat's neck and some sort of incantation and a prayer to a higher power. Like, I was wondering if that went down because they were stopping Clemson in the first half. And then this rain delay happens at halftime. And I shit you not, it was almost 2 hours for Lightning. But they come back, second half begins, and the Syracuse Orange, led by my dog, Fran Brown, just beat that ass up and down the field. And to see how Dabo Swinney looked throughout this game after how he looked before the game, just beautiful to me. I don't know how many people saw this rant from Dabo Swinney, but here is Swinney before the game talking about, at the time, Clemson's 1-2 start before they were playing Syracuse. Dabo Swinney, ladies and gentlemen.
If they want me gone, if they tired of winning, they can send me on their way because that's all we've done is win. So if they tired of winning, we've won this league 8 out of the last 10 years. Is that not good? I'm just asking. Is that good? I don't know if that's good or not. To win your league 8 out of 10 years, to go to the playoffs 7 out of 10 years, to be in 4 national championships, win it twice. Yeah, we're a little down right now. Take your shots, but I got a long memory in case y'all don't know. We'll be all right. We'll bounce back. This is a program built to last, always has been, always will be. And I would just say if you give up on us if you don't believe in us because we've lost 2 games down to the last straight and you didn't believe in us anyway, so it don't matter. You wasn't all in anyway. If you're all in, you burn the ships, man. There ain't no exit strategy. Like, you're freaking all in. And hey, listen, I mean, if Clemson's tired of winning, they send me on my way, but I'm going to go somewhere else and coach. I ain't going to the beach. Hell, I'm 55. I got a long way to go. Y'all going to have to deal with me for a while. I got a long way to go. I'm just getting going. I'm just now good enough to be a head coach.
Okay. How's Dabo Swinney after that game? Or excuse me, after they fell to 1-2. So how did Dabo Swinney look during this game? How did he look? Did he handle things well? Was he poised, calm, cool, and collected? This was with Syracuse up 17-7 early in the second quarter. He doesn't look very cool, calm, collected. He looks pissed. He looks really pissed. But I'm sure as the game wore on, it's Clemson and they're playing, lowly Syracuse. I'm sure that by the end of this game that Dabo Swinney was his normal, fiery, feisty, cocky self. There's no way he would have cried after the game, right? Oh, yeah, give it to me. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That gave me a little pants down, not gonna lie. Seeing Dabo sad there. Here's Dabo after the game, case of the Mondays. I think he's still crying here. Here's the head coach of Clemson football.
Locker room, ESPN kind of caught you at the end during the alma mater, being emotional, I guess. What was going through your mind to the end of the game?
Just, I mean, disappointed, painful. Hurt. I'm human. I'm not a cyborg. This is my life, man. I've been here 23 years. I love this place. I give this place the very best I got every single day. Every day. There's never been a day that I haven't given Clemson every ounce of everything I had. I hurt. I'm invested my life here. And when I don't get the job done, I'm responsible. And I feel the pain. It's not just my pain. I feel everybody's pain. And, but that comes with my job. And I don't run from that at all. I've been in these situations many times. I've had a lot of great days, and this is a very, very low day. But I also know that we'll get through it. And there'll be a lot more great days. It's just, Nobody wants to hear that in this moment, but that's what drives me is being able to look back at different moments in my life and my career, certainly, and, you got through it. You got better. There's a lot of great days. So I just hurt. I hurt. I hurt, obviously, just because I take pride in what I do. I hurt for our team, I hurt for our fans, and certainly feel that.
Oh, God. Didn't think that I would get to where I wanted to go twice in one segment, but watching Dabo complain and cry, that legitimately arouses me. Does that make me a small, petty person? Perhaps, but cut me a little bit of slack, okay? I'm gonna show you a couple of things here. I'm gonna show you a couple of things, and you might laugh, and you might also wonder, like, damn, Paul, have you aged so much in just a couple of years? But way back in 2018, a pretty good Syracuse team was on the road taking on Clemson, and I'm just going to say this, like, one of my friends decided to snoop and to see, how I looked, how I was handling it. And you can see for yourself as Syracuse on the road in Death Valley seemingly was going to win during what would be like one of the best seasons Syracuse has had in my life. Clemson's number 3. Syracuse was 4-0 at the time. They were up at halftime 16-7, but they ultimately lose 27-23. One of my friends was cruelly, very cruelly observing me. This is me. This is me right there. I had a beard, and I'll just admit it. Like, I wasn't doing so hot. Also, a couple of years later, Syracuse is playing Clemson in 2022. I'm in Vegas with Sean Mapes. Syracuse was up on Clemson 24-10 at halftime. They allowed 17 points in the fourth quarter. They lose 27-21. That game ultimately ended like this, and I'm trying to figure out how I can actually play this. Maybe I'm gonna have to do this via another way. What was really frustrating about this was that some a-hole from Clemson, the entire time I'm watching this game, kept on saying, "Oh, basketball school, it's a basketball school, it's a basketball school." Let's see if this actually plays. Here is me watching this game, watching Syracuse lose the game in Vegas. Fuck that guy. See that one? Hear that person that said they're a basketball school? Fuck that guy, because I had no comeback for that guy in the moment. Who's the basketball school now, bitch? You guys fucking blow. 1-3. Season's over. Oh, we're going to turn around. Y'all fucking suck. Syracuse. We run this shit now. Oh, we're a bunch of Southerners. We don't know how to play no football no more. We can barely afford to pay for cleats. And here, these northern carpetbaggers coming down into our conference and trying to take us down, and we got nothing against them. Poor little Clemson. Poor little Clemson. We ain't got nothing for these northerners and the words and the education. We don't know what we're gonna do. By the way, there's one more Clemson person to laugh at coming out of this one. Here is the one, the only, Cade Klubnik after Syracuse vanquished Clemson on Saturday. This is a very bizarre spin zone.
I mean, we were doing it really all throughout the game. You know, we were doing it all throughout the game. We were playing with tempo, and you know, props to them. They stopped us on some third downs and in certain times, and then you know they have an injury or something like that when we really got going. So, you know, that's up to them if they want to be honest about that. But you know, that was just, you know, that was definitely tough for us to really get in a rhythm when we're playing fast, and then you know, unfortunately they have a guy get hurt or something. So, or a timeout or you know, something like that. So, you know, hopefully everybody. I feel like we came out really healthy, and hopefully they did too. So,
you pussy. It's such a passive-aggressive way to bitch and moan about something that Syracuse actually does do a little bit. Go back to the Tennessee game. Syracuse was doing a little bit of that. But what? That's why Clemson couldn't get going? Because there were players on Syracuse who were slow getting up? That's why they couldn't get going? Syracuse punked them. They scored a touchdown first drive of the game. They kick on sides after scoring a touchdown the first drive of the game and recover it. I mean, Clemson's lucky they didn't score a touchdown on that drive. But that game, it was never in doubt if you were watching it and objectively watching the football. If you looked at the uniforms, you're like, it's Clemson. They're going to figure it out. Nope, not on this one. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Todd the Show says Syracuse got fined today. Not surprising. They've done it a couple of times. So it's not like Klubnik's completely out of pocket making that accusation. But at the same time, bro, you got punked by a team you're better than. At least in terms of talent. And you played like idiots. It's unnecessary roughness penalties all over the place too. It was a lot like the Jaguars, all the times that they gave the Texans a gift yesterday. Anyway, everybody. No one's got a bigger case of the Mondays than Clemson football. That's going to wrap up today's edition of the Gallant Says podcast. Thank you so much for tuning into today's live show. If you did, it's weekdays, noon Central Time on YouTube at Paul Gallant. Like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. On Twitch at Gallant Says, give me a sub. You can also follow along on X and Twitter at Gallant Says Pod. On Instagram too, at Sports Gallant, or on Facebook at Paul Gallant Sports. You can get clips of the show on TikTok too, at Gallant Says. Occasionally we will do this after major Houston sporting events, but seeing as the Astros look unlikely to be in the playoffs, I don't know if it's going to be happening that often in the near future. I suppose maybe after some Rockets games it'll happen. It's also available after the fact wherever you get your podcast. So if you haven't already, subscribe, rate, and review the Gallant Says podcast on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. If you roast my ass, I'll read it. Thank you so much for tuning into today's show. One more time, I am merely Paul Gallant. Until tomorrow at noon Central, so long, farewell, and have yourselves a wonderful Monday.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain.
Peace.